Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
Most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. Oh my goodness, what a glorious day it is. It's the 30th of September, and there is all sorts of stuff happening. There's talk of peace in the Middle East, for crying out loud, and Pete Hegseth assembling all the generals of the military and saying, hey, fatty, you're no longer welcome, and if you're a guy wearing a dress, probably want to do something else for a living. And the left is going bananas. Oh my God, they just hate that they might raise standards, make you cut your hair and get rid of that the gauging in your nose. You look like an idiot, for God's sake. And actually, I don't know, do some push-ups and whatnot. It is so funny. I love it. I just love it. Right now, we are so winning. And the left is just so caterwauling and dragging and screaming and trying to drag us into hell with them and trying to blame the Republicans for the shutdown, even though the Democrat Party still thinks they hold sway, still think they can extort us out of trillions of dollars for things like illegals getting health care and stuff. But it's not working at all. It's not working at all, because 80% of us know that Joe Biden and the Democrats took the country into hell, and 80% of us are here to come together to save our country, and they're all lining up on the wrong side of history, whether that's being protesting ICE actually deporting people who shouldn't be here. Oh my God, how terrible. No, that's an 80-20 issue. People love it. When they see the ICE agents rounding up the illegals, they cheer, they high five, they fist bump. Oh my God, they're so happy. It's fantastic. But I guess that makes us all racist. It's just so terrific. By the way, today is the last day that you will be able to hear this. You Gen Zers won't recognize this. This is what it used to sound like to get on the interweb. AOL is getting rid of its dial. Can you just turn that off a second? Yeah, there you go. AOL's getting rid of its dial-up service, so you're not going to hear this anymore either.
You've got mail.
Yeah, you've got mail. That's going to be gone because after 33 years, it's gone. AOL dial-up internet service shutting down on Tuesday. I didn't even know it was still around. Did you know it was still around? Occasionally I'll see somebody with an AOL email account. I'm like, really? Really? Do you still wear acid wash jeans, for God's sakes? AOL, initially called America Online, is getting rid of that. At its peak, AOL counted for more than 20 million users in 2000, became part of the world's largest deal in history when it merged with Time Warner in a deal that made the combined company's value $350 billion. The dial-up shutdown was first reported in August. CNBC reported that 1.5 million monthly customers paid for AOL's tech support and identity theft services, equating to as much as $180 million in annual revenue. AOL also continues to offer email services, so there's that. Oh, and goodbye to the EV tax credit in case you wanted to go out and buy an EV. And I think you know how I feel about EVs. They're for posers. I mean, they're great commuter cars and everything, but if you're hauling anything, if you've got one of those Ford F-150 Lightnings and you hook it up to a fifth wheel, and you'll notice that your range goes from like 300 miles to 2 miles, and and they're worthless in the wintertime. So there you go. Sales of electronic vehicles in the United States are almost certain to tumble when the $7,500 federal tax credit for EV buyers expires on October the 1st. That's coming up. The tax credit passed by the Biden administration 2022 to support EVs is going away. So all you insufferable little people who drive your Nissan Leafs with the coexist spelled in religious symbols on the back, you're going to have to pay for your own way. We're not paying for your EV. Ford CEO expects EV sales to be cut in half after the end of the tax credits because, again, they're for posers. They are commuter cars. They're cute little commuter cars, and that's about it. Maybe golf carts. They're golf carts, too. Sorry if I'm insulting you as an EV owner, but listen, they're fine as cars, just not as anything useful and practical. And most of them, while you're virtue signaling in your EV, are powered by coal-fired plants just outside of town. Thought you should know about that. So there is that as well. So you might want to get those cars while you can, while the rest of us are having to pay for your to subsidize your EV purchase, so you can virtue signal about how awesome you are that you've got an EV powered by coal-fired plants outside of town. Also, I don't know if you knew this, but the government shutdown could happen. And the Democrat Party is freaking out and they're gnashing their teeth and everything, and they're saying it's the worst thing in the history of mankind. But, most Americans don't even give a rat's behind. You know why? Because the government shut us down for a couple of years. The government shut down businesses. The government shut down churches. The government shut down schools for a virus that they created and paid for and didn't give us a damn thing in return. Countless restaurants and bars shut down. Liquor stores were allowed to stay open. Big box stores were allowed to stay open. And as far as the government shutting down, most people could give a rat's behind about it. I know I shouldn't say that because I live in the heart of the beast here in Washington, D.C., but you see, I was living in flyover country when all of that nonsense happened. And the Democrats, they have selective outrage.
Are marching America to a painful government shutdown. But we need traditional Republicans to break with MAGA extremists so we can keep the government open.
Republican shutdown will cost 6,306 of her constituents their paychecks.
Put the bill on the floor for an up or down vote so we can end this MAGA Republican nightmare.
MAGA Republican.
And if you don't, you own this government shutdown.
And we could put the threat of a shutdown behind us. Our agreement would keep the government open, provide emergency aid.
Now you're trying to extort again. This is what you do. Everybody understands your game. You come up on this the possibility of passing a budget or a CR, and the Republicans offer a clean CR to get us through, and the Democrats see it as an opportunity to extort you out of more of your tax money. This after they used COVID to increase the size of government by about half and have kept those people still in jobs, and the rest of us, of course, suffered. I've seen this friggin' nonsense for decades here. When I was in Washington, D.C., Barack Obama was the president. They had a government shutdown, and they had more people hired to keep people from seeing the Vietnam Veteran Memorial than would have seen it had it been open. But that's what they do. They use it as a political tool. Here is Mike Johnson talking about the Schumer shutdown. It's the Schumer shutdown.
Their counterproposal, what Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are demanding, is that they claw back the $50 billion that we put into the rural hospital support structure. They want to take that back. We're not going to do that. We passed that because we have to allow for that. Also, if they shut the government down, not only are troops unpaid, federal workers, and all the services that everybody relies upon, but the WIC program, the nutrition program, women, infant, and children, they will not get that program, will not be funded. FEMA won't be funded. We have hurricanes off the coast of the United States right now. This is serious business. You have telehealth. You have mental health services.
My, how the tables have turned. Here's Chuck Schumer. Have you noticed the new glasses he's wearing? He looks like the warden in Shawshank Redemption. Have you noticed that? He looks like the warden in Shawshank Redemption.
President, for the first time since all of these issues.
What a despicable human being. I mean, honestly, he's all hunched over and he looks like he should be guarding a cathedral.
Started, even though we have requested repeated meetings with leaders.
Are you talking about the MAGA fascist enemies of democracy? Those people you want to have meetings with?
Leader Thune, Speaker Johnson, and the President.
Why would you want to meet with those people who are just rounding up people of color? Just to round them up and disappear them.
Very large differences on health care and on their ability to undo whatever budget we agree to through rescissions and through...
everything you say is a lie, and everybody knows that now. Here's J.D. Vance talking about it.
Frustrated about the fact that this negotiation has not taken place until today, but if you look at the original The original thing they did with this negotiation, it was a $1.5 trillion spending package, basically saying to the American people, we want to give massive amounts of money, hundreds of billions of dollars to illegal aliens for their health care, while Americans are struggling to pay their health care bills. That was their initial foray into this negotiation. We thought it was absurd. We told them it was absurd, and now they come in here saying that if you don't give us everything that we want, we're going to shut down the government. We think that's preposterous. We think it's totally unacceptable, and we think the American people are going to suffer because these guys won't do.
And by the way, everybody understands it about the Democrat Party because right now their approval rating is right above toenail fungus. So there's that. Here is Jim Gossett as the president talking about the government shutdown.
Schumer running round, talking out loud.
This is stylish.
Of his dirty tactics, how can he be proud?
Come on.
To close up the federal government.
I love it.
For the GOP, Schumer is heaven sent. Chuck ought to know that this time around, he will get the blame for a government shutdown.
Come on.
We'll be taking the fall.
I like this.
Democrats want, but they won't get a bunch of new spending to run up the debt.
Ain't gonna happen.
Hot came Jeffries, a guy we cannot trust. Negotiations, he is why they've been a bust. Dems can't wait to leave this town. A sad, sad truth, they want to shut down.
Nice. That is stylish. Oh yeah, and Donald Trump. He did this. It's not a meme. It's a GIF. Is it a GIF? No. Anyway. It's a little video that he decided to do with Hakeem Jeffries wearing a sombrero and Chuck Schumer standing next to him, and Hakeem Jeffries is claiming racism. No, it's a joke, you fool. It's a joke. And he's got his panties in a bunch, that's because Democrat men wear panties, you see. We've got much more on this coming up. Also, Pete Hegseth's epic speech to the military, finally saying enough of this woke nonsense. We are here to fight in a cruel world. That's all coming up, and this is the Rob Carson Show. Are we streaming?
Sending troops to Memphis, Tennessee, 'cause it looks like Memphis could use some help from me. The mayor has done nothing to put criminals away. Memphis needs our help, and they need it there today. The city's run by Democrats who defunded police. They can't do their jobs or maintain the peace. I'm sending in the guard. Memphis needs it bad. Their mayor, Paul Young, that guy's really sad. Voted the most dangerous place in the USA. Wouldn't want to live there. Wouldn't want to stay. Sending in the guard. That goal, it was mine. Democrats in Memphis, listen to them whine.
Drugs transported by boat, Venezuela. You best take note, hotels. They're having fits, 'cause they're men. They were blown to bits. The drug boat, it now resides on the ocean floor. The drug boat, Marco says we're gonna take out more. Yes, their lives are in danger if they take another chance. 'Cause drugs, we won't tolerate. Shut it down before it's too late. No drugs. A boat that was filled with drugs.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
It is the Rob Carson Show on radio stations around the country. Also streaming on all Newsmax social media platforms. I didn't see us on the rumbly roof for a second there. I'm checking that out. But we are on Facebook, and we're on Instagram, and we're on YouTube, and we're on everywhere, so you can watch the program. And the numbers are growing, by the way, by leaps and bounds. By leaps and bounds, and we got a lot of stuff to cover today. Donald Trump posted a funny video. You see, I love the fact that this woke nonsense with regard to comedy is finally coming to an end. We can finally laugh at things without being called racist and sexist and homophobe and all of that. And we've gone through enough of this nonsense, to be quite honest. And what Trump did is he put a video, I guess, of Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries standing there talking about the shutdown. And Donald Trump put Hakeem Jeffries in a mustache and a sombrero, which, I mean, is cultural appropriation and racist and all that, right? Or it's just comedy. Because you see he's down with illegal immigration and all that. And here's a little bit of the video.
Look, guys, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because of all of our woke trans bullshit. Not even black people want to vote for us anymore. Even Latinos hate us.
Yeah, there you go. And, of course, everybody's all butthurt about it. Here is Senator Roger Marshall being asked about it on NBC.
Is that appropriate in your view?
Look, I think sometimes the president plays with the press like a little boy and a flashlight and a dog. And he's shining the flashlight here and he's shining it there. What he's saying is...
Yeah, because you see, they keep calling him fascist and Nazi and stuff. So he's doing what I recommend, which is to mock and ridicule them. Because they're losing in every way, shape, and form. There's nothing likable about the Democrat Party. They are not a force for good in any way, shape, or form. They've done nothing but decrease the quality of life for Americans the last, couple of decades, and they don't matter anymore. So Donald Trump is making fun of them. I think it's fantastic. Here's Hakeem Jeffries playing victim here. He's actually playing rectum. He starts off every day as one, and he says it's all racist.
They're going to see it. They'll see it in other ways. It's easy to find. But it is absolutely disgusting in every way.
That's Lawrence O'Donnell. He has no viewers at all on MSNBC.
It is a lie. It's the man you met with has now lied about what you said after that meeting. Could you give us your...
Like Russia collusion and the borders closed?
Reaction to that Trump posted video tonight?
It's a disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere.
Oh, yeah, it's bigotry.
We are fighting to protect the
racist.
health care of the American people in the face of an unprecedented Republican assault.
Yeah, you've done nothing. 50 years Joe Biden was in the government. Nothing was ever fixed. Everything that he campaigned on, still broken. Medicare, Medicaid, the VA, infrastructure, all still broken. Donald Trump comes in, he's actually fixing it. And the Democrats get all butthurt about it because they want things broken, otherwise they're not needed. That's why they don't want Donald Trump to bring the National Guard into the poorly run Democrat inner cities around the country that have raised generations of children of color with bad schools, keeping them angry and needy and resentful. And now that Donald Trump's showing them, hey, you know what? There's actually a lot of opportunities out here. And the Democrats are holding you back. You got big fat people like J.D. Titzler standing in the schoolhouse door once again. That's what they do. That's just what they do. So, honestly, just don't have any time for it, to be quite honest. Here is Mike Johnson calling out the Democrats for all of these stupid shutdowns.
Thank you, Vice President Vance. I want to thank the President as well. They showed strong leadership today. They invited the 4 leaders over here because the President is operating in good faith, and he demonstrated that very well. The problem is that Chuck Schumer and Leader Jeffries refuse to acknowledge the simple facts. Let's review what the simple facts
It's Senor Jeffries. Thank you very much.
Are. As the Vice
That's racist.
President was saying, this is the common sense thing to do. This is the right thing to do. This is the simple thing to do. By way of review, the House is getting back to the way the regular appropriations process is supposed to work. 12 separate appropriations bills passed through the House Appropriations Committee, 3 off the floor. The Senate doing their work as well. All this in bipartisan fashion, by the way. They passed 3 bills in the Senate. Those bills don't match up exactly. So for the first time in years, since 2019, you have a conference committee that is being constituted between the House and the Senate. This is the way a bill becomes a law. They work out the differences.
Yeah, remember that? I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. I'm really, aren't you quite exhausted of this nonsense where the Democrats hold America hostage and say the sky is going to fall and the government's going to shut down and everything's going to go to hell. And they keep getting more money while you and I get poorer and poorer all the time. Aren't you a little tired of that nonsense? I think America's kind of tired of the nonsense. U.S. set for the largest mass resignation in history as Trump continues deep cuts. Yeah, deep cuts. They increased the size of the damn government by 50% because of COVID. So please, on your cuts, go back to the spending levels pre-COVID, which were still bloated, by the way. Give me a break. I have no pity at all. No pity at all for government budget cuts because we have been suffering under budget cuts forever. We have to survive on much less. We, the people, had to do 2 or 3 jobs while Joe Biden was the president, and the price of groceries went up 50%, and the price of cars went up 50%, and the price of homes doubled, and the interest rates tripled. I have no pity at all whatsoever for cuts in the federal government, for God's sake. It says the largest mass resignation, more than 100,000 federal workers set to formally quit as part of the latest wave of its deferred resignations program. The White House has also ordered federal agencies to draw up plans for large-scale firings of workers if the partisan fight fails to yield a deal. Workers preparing to leave government, and they've described how months of fear and intimidation left them feeling like they had no choice but to depart. Well, you find another job. Just find another job. I've been fired so many times, it's not even funny. It's ridiculous. I had to sell cars. It was great. It was the first job I actually quit in a very long time. Yeah, welcome to the real world, honestly. Federal salaries usually are 70% higher than the average salary of Americans. And guess what? Most of us don't have pensions. Yeah, we don't have big retirement plans or anything like that either. So, I mean, welcome to it. Welcome to it. It kind of sucks, doesn't it? But you know what? It's the way it works. That's the way it works. I got some glorious sound from Pete Hegseth giving fat generals a little what fur and woke generals a little what fur in a spectacular speech that the left is caterwauling about. I think Don Lemon has got his panties in a bunch too. That's all coming up. This is the Rob Carson Show. A Tuesday edition of the Rob Carson Show with the possibility of a government shutdown today. Oh my God, the world's coming to an end. Oh wait, no. The government shut down your entire life for a while. Took away a couple of years of my kid's education. My son was in college, missed 2 years of going to classes in person and social gatherings, and my daughter missed half of her freshman year and most of her sophomore year, and then had to wear a stupid mask for a while. So honestly, I don't even really give a damn. I know it sucks, it's terrible, oh my God, Rob Carson is heartless, whatever. Honestly, just do it. You've been threatening to do it forever. Shut the damn thing down. Everybody's going to get paid, all right? Everybody's going to get paid. Stop using it as scare tactics. We're done with it. Done with the nonsense, dear God. And to show you how concerned the Democrats are, they are quietly planning a luxury getaway escape to five-star resort despite the looming government shutdown. Senate Democrats' campaign arm is planning a 2-day getaway to a five-star resort in the heart of California's wine country in early October. At the same time, the country may be in the midst of a government shutdown, according to an invitation obtained by Politico's Playbook. The Napa retreat will be October the 13th at the Hotel Yountville in Napa County. Democrat New York Senator Kristen Gillibrand, who has chaired the DSCC since January, circulated an invitation to the event, which lists her and Democrat Maryland Senator Angela Also Brooks and other identified members of the Democrat caucus as attendees. It's going to be quite delightful. It will almost be as good as the dinner at the French Laundry that Gavin Newsom had with his friends while he shut down California businesses and all of that. It's going to coincide with the shutdown. The October 13th wine tour and dinner is at the Certified Organic Stagelin County Vineyards, which is very important to be organic. The Vineyard Estate-inspired retreat extends a Tuscan European vibe. Sleep deeply, always in our luxurious accommodations. Soak in one of our oversized sunken tubs and find warmth in your private Fieldstone Fieldstone fireplace. Savor a meal at the Heritage Oak Cafe. Immerse yourself in a pool or find repose at our distinguished spa. Hotel Yountville offers more than wine country trip. It's a luxury escape you didn't know you needed until now. I'm going to go to the Days Inn. I think I'm staying in the Days Inn in Rehoboth this weekend. That's where I am. Where am I staying in Rehoboth? I'm staying in Rehoboth because I'm going up for WGMD. There's a thing called Wings and Wheels. It's going to be a lot of fun on Saturday, broadcasting from 10 to 2. And I think I'm staying in like the Days Inn. Yeah, I think if I'm lucky, they might have a workout facility that has some dumbbells. And that's fine with me. That's absolutely fine with me. Oh, my God, more bad news. More bad news. Donald Trump has worked with Pfizer to reduce our pharmaceutical costs.
We're also announcing that moving forward, all new medications introduced by Pfizer to the American market will be sold at the reduced most favored nation cost. So we'll be paying essentially what other countries are paying who have been...
the Democrats got to find a way to hate that.
Much lower, much lower.
It's probably racist. There's something to do with racism. There's got to be some racism in there.
For many, many years.
Because you're lowering price for white people, too. That's okay, there it is. That's what I got. You're lowering prices for everybody, so that means that people with white privilege are going to get those discounts.
Pfizer will invest $70 billion to reshore domestic manufacturing facilities.
Oh, yeah. They're going to bring manufacturing here to the United States so you don't have to have China relying on China for your drugs.
A lot of their facilities.
That's anti-Asian.
Is to make their drugs and make what they make.
Oh, my God.
They're going to make it in the United States.
They're going to make the product in the United States. Oh, it's just hell on earth. They got to come up with some way to complain about it. The Democrats they'll figure out a way. Trust me on this, they will. So Pete Hegseth called together all of the generals. They gathered in their masses. And Pete Hegseth gave him a little what for because he's tired of, remember General Milley, the rotund, obese Milley and Lloyd Dobson? No, Lloyd Austin. Remember Lloyd Austin wearing the Darth Vader salad bar protector because he didn't want to get the COVID, and then he had prostate cancer, didn't tell anybody, and went to have it treated without telling anybody and all that, and he was a big fat tub of lard too. Well, no more. Nope. You want to be in the military, you better be war ready.
Truth.
War ready.
To ensure peace,
yes,
we must prepare for war.
Oh, you can't say that. We're the warm, fuzzy hug department.
From this moment forward, the only mission of the newly restored Department of War is this.
What?
War.
What is it? Spread DEI and let men become women?
Fighting.
War fighting, what?
Preparing for war and preparing to win. Unrelenting and uncompromising in that pursuit. Not because we want war. No one here wants war. But it's because we love peace.
Well, what about understanding your white privilege? Is that a part of it? That's what General Milley thought was important.
We love peace for our fellow citizens.
Yeah.
They deserve peace.
Yeah, okay.
And they rightfully expect us to deliver it.
Well, that is weird. There's no mention of being able to dress up like a girl or anything. That's just weird. And here's Pete Hegseth making it very clear about woke nonsense in the military.
This administration has done a great deal from day one to remove the social justice, politically correct, and toxic ideological garbage that had infected our department. To rip out the politics. No more identity months.
Wow.
DEI offices.
Wow.
Dudes in dresses.
Well, that is just so homophobic or something.
No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris.
Wow.
As I've said before, and will say again, we are done with that shit.
Well, I got to tell you, that is, I mean, Democrats are going to have such their panties in a bunch so much, again, they won't be able to dig them out with a backhoe. I mean, they're going to be stuck up there for a very long time. Here's Pete Hegseth saying that if you're going to be in the military, you can't be a tub of lard.
With physical fitness and appearance. If the Secretary of War can do regular, hard PT, so can every member.
That's physical training, by the way.
Member of our joint force.
Yes.
Frankly.
Nice sounding audio there, by the way.
It's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's
You can't use that word.
Completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals.
What? He said fat again. That's the F word.
Halls of the Pentagon. And leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. It is bad, and it's not who we are. So whether you're an airborne ranger or a chairborne ranger, a brand new private or a 4-star general, you need to meet the height and weight standards and pass your PT test.
Well, so much for the big and tall uniforms.
And as the chairman said, yes, there is no PT test.
Yes.
But today, at my direction, every member of the Joint Force at every rank is required to take a PT test twice a year.
Wow.
As well as meet height and weight requirements twice a year.
Well, that's pretty tough there. Now, listen, I'm a recovering fat person, although I kind of stray into it periodically. You know, I've gotten so good at yo-yo dieting, I'm doing tricks now, you know, walk the dog and whatnot. But I was a fat kid, made fun of it from first grade through sophomore year in high school, I guess. Made fun because, you know, I carried a few extra pounds and all of that. But this is just the way it's going to be if you're going to be in the military. You want the best of the best of the best. The best of the best of the best. And you've got to be physically fit to do it. That's just the way it is. Oh, my God, when was the last time you heard that? You know, they're also doing the Presidential Physical Fitness Awards again. Oh, my God, isn't that crazy? Expecting the best to out of people. Isn't that remarkable? Isn't it kind of nice to hear for a change rather than just accept everybody who how they are, regardless of whether they can perform their task because you want to make up for some sort of grievance or whatever? It's fantastic. I've got more of Pete Hegseth's epic speech this morning coming up. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Words I'm speaking today are making your heart sink, then you should do the honorable thing and resign.
There you go.
We would thank you for your service.
That is Pete Hegseth. He was gathering all of his generals. Generals gathered in their masses, and Pete Hegseth said, you're going to have fitness standards. We're getting rid of woke nonsense. You're going to have to trim that beard unless you're in special forces. You're going to start looking presentable, and if you don't like it, honestly, bye. There's the door. Oh, my God. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that just amazing? I want you to think about your life. When was who were the most impactful people in your life? Were the people who coddled you or the people who said, let's get going, you've got this within you, you can do something? You can do something. My daughter was kind of wondering what to do with her life, and she was in community college, and then she dropped out of community college without telling me, and I said, you apply to that friggin' art school. You've got everything within you to get into that art school. It's one of the best art academies in the country. It's called Kansas City Art Institute. And I got to tell you, I didn't know if she had it within her. I didn't know if she had it because I coddled her a good share of her life. I drove her to and from school. I made every meal, everything. And I said, you are doing something. Get your ass in there and apply at that art school. And guess what? She got in and she got an $80,000 scholarship. And you know what? That tough love gave her the confidence maybe she needed. It's always that way. It's always that way. You get much more out of coddling than you do, or out of discipline than you would do out of coddling. And I'm not talking about unnecessary abusive discipline. I'm talking about someone who will make you believe in yourself enough that they will be tough on you. When I was selling cars, I went from being a guy in his early 50s who was used to being, in charge at work, whatever, to a guy who was basically just like every other grunt selling cars. And I'd have to go out in the morning, go find keys, open up the cars to make sure that the cars were open no matter how cold it was, and then go out and lock them up every night. And you had to do it. Get out there and do it now. And I would have, this guy, his name was Cheeto Sampa, this big dude, and he would stand behind me as I'm backing the car in with his arms crossed, looking down his nose at me, and me feeling nervous about it. I was a 50-year-old dude. I've had a million people in my audience before in different cities around the country. I got this guy criticizing me backing a car in. I called him tough love. I still call him tough love. And you know what? Some of the best friends I've ever had in 30 years of broadcasting are not in broadcasting. They're in car sales because they were the ones who were tough on me. And it always benefits when you have someone who is willing to believe in you enough to give you the guidance and kick your ass a little bit. That's just the way it works. Here is Pete Hegseth talking about a thing called merit, which means you got to be the best there is to move up. That's just the way it is.
For too long, we've promoted too many uniformed leaders for the wrong reasons. Based on their race, based on gender quotas, based on historic so-called firsts.
Yeah.
We've pretended that combat arms and non-combat arms are the same thing.
Yeah.
We've weeded out so-called toxic leaders under the guise of double-blind psychology assessments.
Oh, dear Lord.
Promoting risk-averse, go-along-to-get-along conformists instead.
Yeah.
You name it, the department did it.
Yeah.
Foolish and reckless political leaders set the wrong compass heading.
Yeah.
And we lost our way.
Yeah, remember when they had those stupid ads with that girl and her two moms and all that, and she was like into ballet, and suddenly she's running a weapon system, and of course all of the recruitment dropped into the toilet because nobody wanted to be part of a wussified military.
We became the woke department.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
But not anymore.
No.
Right now, I'm looking out at a sea of Americans who made a choice when they were young men and young women.
Yeah.
To do
their birth sex, not what they're identifying as.
Something most Americans will not. To serve something greater than yourself. To fight for God and country, for freedom and the Constitution.
Yeah.
You made a choice to serve when others did not.
Yeah.
And I commend you. You are truly the best of America.
Yeah. Merit has got to make a comeback, and it is, and the military is doing it. And you know what? If you're going to sign up for the military, listen, when Joe Biden was the president, if one of my kids would have said go in the military, I would have said, no freaking way. My daughter had a friend who was kind of trying to figure out what to go and what to do, and she was thinking about a career in the military, and I told her, I don't know if it's a good idea. Would I do it now? I'd say, hell yeah, sign right up. New standards are coming.
I don't want my son serving alongside troops who are out of shape.
Nope.
Or in combat unit with females who can't meet the same combat arms physical
That's sexist. No, it's not.
Standards as men. Or troops who are not fully proficient on their assigned weapons, platform, or task.
Got to know how to do that.
Or under a leader who was the first, but not the best.
I'm the first trans El Capitan or whatever.
Standards must be uniform,
yep,
gender neutral,
yep,
and high.
Yeah.
If not, they're not standards.
No.
They're just suggestions.
Yeah, they are. Just suggestions. I just think this is amazing. Like I said, when Donald Trump was elected, I said it's going to take a very long time for you to recognize the profundity of what is happening. And it looks like we finally got some tough love in the military, and it's going to make us much stronger. Anybody who served in the military honorably knows exactly what I'm talking about. Let's take a break and come back because at the end of this speech, Donald Trump addressed the crowd. And you could hear a pin drop. That's coming up. This is the Rob Carson Show. Wow, it was something else, man. You know what I'm talking about, right? Somebody who changed your life. You know, I could see where, for instance, been through a lot of abuse. If you got somebody reaching out a helping hand to help you and welcome you in. I've got, I've always wished I would have had that when I was a kid, when I was sleeping in my car to escape my home and whatnot. But at the same time, the most respected people who you look as role models in your life are the ones who were tough on you, right? Isn't that the case? And I think most people would recognize who've been in the military, your drill sergeant is tough on you. You know why? Because he doesn't want you shot and he doesn't want you dead. You can call that a caring thing. It is. It is. And I think a lot of you who have been in the military, you know that that's what you needed at that time. You needed somebody to kick your ass to save your ass, right? Right? I just think it's so good. I just think it's so good that Hegseth is doing this. Who's watching today? Oh my God, we got Paul over there. He says, you'll be there one day too, Rob. Easy to mock until you're in the same boat. Dude, I've been in the boat so many times it isn't even funny. Okay, how about getting in the boat with the rest of us? Dear God, don't pull that nonsense on me. All right? It is not about mocking. It is about living in the private sector during the worst times in American history and having the government threaten us with a shutdown. And sorry, you know what? That just ain't going to play anymore. It's not going to play anymore because we've lost our jobs and we've lived in poverty. And I was on food stamps 5 years ago, for God's sake. So, honestly, don't even pull that crap on me. I've been there. I've been worse than you could ever even imagine my situation has been. So, boo-hoo. Boo friggity hoo. All right, here we go.
About 3:45.
Okay.
This, and I want to be very clear about this, this is not about preventing women from serving.
Yeah.
We very much value the impact of female troops. Our female officers and NCOs are the absolute best in the world.
Yes.
But when it comes to any job that requires physical power to perform in combat, those physical standards must be high and gender neutral.
Sure.
If women can make it, excellent.
Good.
If not, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is.
If that means no women qualify for some combat jobs, so be it. That is not the intent, but it could be the result.
Yep.
So be it.
Mm-hmm.
It will also mean that weak men won't qualify because we're not playing games.
Yeah.
This is combat. This is life or death.
Yeah, that's the way it is. It is life or death. We live in a very cruel world where people want to kill you and take your property. That's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. What about facial hair and whatnot there, Secretary Hegseth?
Great job you're doing, too.
That's the Prezi. Here's Pete Hegseth with regard to uniformity of grooming.
This also means grooming standards.
Uh-oh.
No more beards, long hair, superficial individual expression. We're going to cut our hair, shave our beards, and adhere to standards.
Yeah.
Because it's like the broken windows theory of policing. It's
Yeah.
like when you let the small stuff go, the big stuff eventually goes.
Absolutely, 100%. It's about saving lives and saving our country and protecting our country. Here's Donald Trump stepping in after Pete spoke, and there was silence in the room.
Great job you're doing, too. Fantastic job. I've never walked into a room so silent before. This is very... Don't laugh. You're not allowed to...
A little shell-shocked, I guess.
Do that. You know what? Just have a good time. And if you want to applaud, you applaud. And if you want to do anything you want, you can do anything you want.
Yeah.
And if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room.
Bye.
Of course, there goes your rank. There goes your future.
Uh-oh.
But you just feel nice and loose, okay? Because we're all on the same team. And I was told that, sir, you won't hear a murmur in the room. I said, we got to loosen these guys up a little bit. So you just have a good time. But I want to thank Secretary Hegseth.
Yeah, there you go. Just gave him a little what for. Just said, hey, here's how things are going to be. You want to get along? Do what we ask you to do. There you go. I thought this kind of on the heels was fun. This is Dana White, because I'm loving the fact that masculinity is making a comeback, and men were made to feel ashamed of being masculine. And here's what Dana White said to 60 Minutes about toxic masculinity.
You don't think there's this cultural movement? It's a lot of guys. They call it the manosphere. You're one of the leaders.
You know, you talk about knowing your fan base and knowing who they are.
Yeah. Who are they?
18 to 34-year-old males and growing. We're global. We are definitely unapologetically masculine.
Yeah. Can this bubble over to too much? When you hear toxic masculinity.
What's that mean?
You tell me.
No, you just said it. What's the definition of toxic? How can somebody be too masculine? Is that a possibility? Can you be too masculine?
You tell me.
No.
You think so?
The answer is hell no.
I love it. I just love it. You know what? Women should be proud to be feminine as well. The left has got us so twisted up we don't even know which way is up or down, but now it's starting to become clear. Luke Ball joins us, Newsmax contributor, political strategist. He was on the day that Charlie Kirk was shot, and it'll be good to have him back on again. More with Hegseth and more of you coming up in the hour. Number 2 of the Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere.
No blind rhetoric.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think. Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax. Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think. They let me decide.
Real news for real people.
Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily Podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
DC. Can't believe I've been here, wow, like 3 months now. 3 months. I do kind of wonder where the updates for DC crime with Jeanine Pirro are. I kind of enjoyed that. And DC is wonderful and clean, and crime is way down, and quality of life is exceptional, and it's pretty cool. And the Democrat Party, they only exist to be contrarian, even when it is obvious that what they're protesting is good. It's a joke. They are a joke. The Democrat Party, you can't lie so much that you can convince people that bringing in troops or ICE to end violence and cooperate with local law enforcement that are overwhelmed. You can't lie so much and so big that it'll cover up that Trump's plan is working. You can't lie so big. Oh, ICE is Nazis and ICE is You can try that all you want to cover up the enormous success of the closure of the southern border and now the mass deportation of people who are allowed to come here illegally and shouldn't live here. Sorry, that's just the way it's done around the world. And the Democrat Party is lining up on the wrong side of history, and it's very obvious. And their loud voices, I like to say, their loudest voices are the least heard. And people like J.D. Tetzler, who are still doubling down and calling Donald Trump a Nazi and a fascist. Honestly, you're fading into oblivion. You're just laughable, to be quite honest. I was a little. Usually don't pay a lot of attention to Don Lemon. He doesn't have a job. He lost his job because, he spent so much time propaganding on network television, and a good share of people like Don Lemon are no longer working because they were supposed to be journalists, and they ended up just being mouthpieces for the Democrat Party, and they were propaganda agents, just like Pravda and Izvestia, except for they did it voluntarily. And now Don Lemon goes around and he tries to do questionable on the street interviews. You can't say that. That's whatever phobic. Oh, whatever. Who cares? I don't even care. But Don Lemon decided to lash out at white men, and just so you didn't know, in case you didn't, I'm what people call a white man, okay? I know I'm privileged because I am, even though I grew up poor and pretty much abusive, bullied all my life. Let's see, spent a good 5 years of a 30-year career out of work. I was on food stamps 5 years ago. But I'm privileged. I am so gosh darn privileged. My God in heaven, I'm so privileged. And Don Lemon decided to lash out at white men, even though he has one in bed at home. White 40-year-old military veteran was behind that shooting in Michigan over the weekend. And so Don Lemon decided to direct comments at all of us guys who just happen to be white. Now, I don't know about you. You may be white and Italian. You may be white and Irish. I'm white and English, Irish and German. A little bit of Cherokee Indian. I don't even know how that explained that. I don't know. It must have been a wild weekend back in 1862 or something. I don't know. Something was amazing. But most of my relatives came here after the turn of the century, so we never had slaves or anything. But all you white guys, I guess we're all exactly the same, right? Are we all exactly the same, us white guys? But here is Don Lemon, and this really pissed me off, to be quite honest. I'm just going to say, it really pissed me off. How dare you pathetic little man, you weak little man. Honestly, dear God, he still ties a sweater around his neck. I mean, who does that outside of the 1980s Revenge of the Nerds movie with the guys in the stuffy frat house dressing like Don Lemon? But listen, here's Don Lemon going after all of us white guys. I guess we're all the same.
Men who look like you, men who vote like you, and men who sound like you.
Okay, all right.
White men.
Yeah, sure.
Something is broken.
Yeah.
Something is cracked. Deep.
Well, I wouldn't be talking about that.
Inside.
What?
When so many of you believe the answer to fear, to loss, to change is violence.
What are you talking about?
Are you listening to me? I hope I'm saying it loud enough for the people in the back.
Okay. You are a little, honestly, a little fop, to be quite honest. I think the best word I can come up with is fop. It's someone who is a powerless little man who would say such a racist thing about white men. I don't know if you know this, but some of us are Irish and English and Italian, Greek. You guys are also white guys, I guess. You Jews, you Jewish guys, you're all white guys too, I guess. I mean, there's a lot of white guys out there, and he says that we're all angry, and our only solution is violence, even though we don't commit most of the violence. We don't commit the most of the violence. And how dare this man would say this about a group of men. We are men. We are brothers in arms with our brothers of color. We don't care about it, never has cared about it. We go to work together with people of different ethnicities. We don't give a rat's behind about it. Sometimes they're our bosses. Sometimes we're their bosses. That's just the way it is. We're a great American melting pot. And for this man who's lived very little life outside of his privileged whatever the hell it is, to say this about white men in general, considering that he actually is married to a white man, is honestly ridiculous. Don Lemon also trashed the Christian messaging at Charlie Kirk's memorial, claimed that the service was merely a political rally. That's Don Lemon, by the way. Don Lemon lecturing white men. Honestly, there's a reason why you don't have a job. He had Ilhan Omar on the other day. Listen to this. You want to hear something? And I normally don't play these. I don't play these sound bites because they're so infuriating and ridiculous. Here is Don Lemon talking to Ilhan Omar, who is a radical Islamist who escaped Somalia because her family was part of the royal family, and they were part of the privileged class over there, and the citizenry wanted to throw them in jail, and so she escaped with her rich family and came over here and started bad-mouthing the United States. And here she is and this is how she is. She's a very seething, awful human being. And she says things with a half smile. And here she is talking about, she's really sorry that Charlie Kirk died, but he was a terrible racist person. Listen to this woman. This is Don Lemon, who he hangs out with, okay? Listen to this.
I have nothing to apologize for. It is a tragedy that Charlie Kirk was killed in that way. I feel for his widow and his...
I don't think you do.
...children. They will have to live with that for the rest of their lives.
Now listen to this.
But there is no legacy to honor. It was a legacy filled with bigotry, hatred.
No, you are absolutely wrong. That's why the church pews around the world are filling up in tribute to Charlie Kirk, who's a brilliant political thinker and one who could actually debate, which you don't do, by the way. You just run away from cameras and you mouth off when you've got a big public meeting and a highly fluffed crowd, but you never debate anything because none of your ideas are intellectually or morally sound.
And white supremacy. And
he was never a white supremacist. That's just a lie.
As a black woman and as a Muslim in this country,
as a Muslim,
I refuse
I refuse?
I refuse to join the chorus that changes the history of what is on the record from this man.
It's not on the record. You're making it up. You are besmirching him as he lies in the ground.
And so, Nancy Mace, the president, like whatever.
Both awesome people.
These crazy people can do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
But I am not going to be bullied.
Where's your worldwide movement going there, sunshine? Where's your worldwide movement? It ain't happening. But there's a movement toward good, toward God, and toward patriotism that you're not going to be a part of because you're an awful person. But that's who Don Lemon likes to hang out with when he's not lecturing all white guys for being violent. Honestly, I don't have time for it anymore. Don't have time for this nonsense anymore. I think we're kind of done with it, to be quite honest. Aren't we kind of done with this? I like to say 80% of the country believed that the country was heading in the wrong direction. 80% of us came together to save it. Right now, we have another 80-20 poll last week. 80% of us believes that the country is in political turmoil and all of that, which says to me that the 20% over here are so radical and out of touch that the other 80% are saying they're causing it and they're starting to come together. It is happening. It is happening, and people like her and Don Lemon are going to continue to fade into the off into oblivion. By the way, yesterday Donald Trump announced that essentially peace in the Middle East. I'm not sure exactly what the left is saying. I'm sure they're saying it's somehow Zionist or whatever. But there's a real opportunity for peace in the Middle East. I'm going to share some of the audio yesterday. Also, Benjamin Netanyahu and what the military is doing right now that may portend action against Iran and maybe ending the Ayatollahs. And that would, of course, really usher in Middle Eastern peace, which we haven't seen in a millennium. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. When you hear the next...
Free in libs' heads I'm living, the fits I am giving to Whoopi, Sunny, and Joy. Rent free, I'm occupying. Rosie is lying. She says I'm not in her head. Break free, they simply can't do it. When you get down to it, they have TDS real bad. Hatred, just watch it as it spreads, because inside their heads I live. Rent
Jail Jim Comey soon for his terroristic post. Comey in the slammer is what we want to see the most. In other words, lock him up. In other words, incarcerate him. Assassination threat should put Comey in the pen. Make sure that this loser won't see freedom once again. In other words, jail him today. In other words, Jim Comey. Pay.
Little rejoin here.
Okay. We like those.
Donald Trump's election.
Come on.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's the Rob Carson Show.
That sounds good to me, and I love how they preach fiscal responsibility every time Republicans are in power. But when, for example, when President Biden was in power, they didn't care about fiscal responsibility at all. We cannot be on a pandemic budget when we are no longer locked in a pandemic. We are sitting on top of $33 trillion of debt. That is money. That is our future that is mortgaged on that debt. And they don't care, though. They just want to waste our money on illegal aliens, waste our money on boondoggles, on foreign aid, on trans operas. How is it supposed to help the American people? We don't want that. And
that is Lindy Lee. She is was a Democrat, but is now like one of the most outstanding conservative voices out there. She's on Newsmax this morning, and I love. We got to get her on the show. I correspond with her on social media, and she's just remarkable. And here we go. We're up against the Democrats once again, threatening a shutdown of the government, and the people are like, "Yeah, well, you kind of shut down our businesses and our churches and our ability to express ourselves a few years ago. So honestly, how about shut up? Honestly, just whatever. Okay, go ahead." Shut it down. Finally do it. You know, are you this kind of I'm going to smack you right upside the head. Really? After about 10 years of hearing that, go ahead and give it a shot. See what it does for you. Give it a shot. Honestly. So done with this nonsense. So done with this nonsense. Yesterday, the President of the United States had Benjamin Netanyahu in town, and they were talking about a world peace possibility. Thus far, Donald Trump has only negotiated 6 peace deals that some of these conflicts have existed over 30 years. And now he wants to bring peace to the Middle East. Now, if you're a listener to this here radio show, I believe I told you last year that I believe this could usher in peace in the Middle East. The Abraham Accord expansion, allowing Israel to go in and clean out the Gaza of Hamas, end their influence, go after Iran, and the Houthis are already doing a good job with that, bomb the Iran nuclear facilities, and now it looks like there could be peace in the Middle East. Weird.
So this is a big, big day, a beautiful day, potentially one of the great days ever in civilization. Things that have...
I'm sure the Democrats are going to come out a way to call this Zionist or something.
Been going on.
Some sort of phobe or ism or something.
For hundreds of years and thousands of years. We're going to... At least we're at a minimum very, very close, and I think we're beyond very close.
Wow. That's pretty remarkable, right? It's basically the President of the United States finally telling the Middle East, how about get your bleep together? How about that? Because, you know, the entire world is kind of getting tired of this nonsense. We got to deal with all of this book. How about maybe you just kind of put aside, what you've been arguing about for a couple thousand years and realize, how about we kind of get together in this life? We'll worry about the afterlife later. How about that? Here is Donald Trump talking about the Board of Peace.
To ensure the success of this effort, my plan calls for the creation of a new international oversight body, the Board of Peace, we call it, the Board of Peace. Sort of a beautiful name.
Who's going to be in charge?
Peace, which
who's going to be in charge? I wonder who's going to be in
headed,
charge. Yeah.
Not at my request, believe me. Okay. I'm very busy.
Who is it?
But we have to make sure this works.
Uh-huh.
The leaders of the Arab world and Israel and everybody involved asked me to do this, so it would be headed by a gentleman known as President Donald J. Trump.
Well, there you go. Donald Trump's going to be in charge. So basically, he's not going to become the United Nations where they do nothing. He's going to get it done. Oh, my God. Mystery fleet of U.S. Air Force tankers crossing the Atlantic stirs echoes of Iran strike ahead of secret military meeting. Flight trackers have spotted a fleet of U.S. air tankers crossing the Atlantic just as Donald Trump prepares to meet with generals and admirals on Tuesday. Around a dozen KC-135 RT Stratotankers were making the journey on Sunday night, with several en route to the RAF Mildenhall, a major Air Force base in England. The presence of air tankers can indicate the U.S. or NATO is addressing an urgent military requirement for fighter jet refueling capacity. The last time the U.S. moved tankers in comparable numbers was 5 days before American warplanes struck Iran's nuclear facilities. Trump is meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu. He did yesterday. So there you go. Soon after we had the Middle East, we had Operation Midnight Hammer. Remember that? Remember that when Trump went after the nuclear facilities? I said and I believe that the Ayatollah cannot remain in power in Iran. That's it. Nothing will ever happen for good. They've already said, despite it all, they are not unrelenting in their beliefs that Israel needs to be wiped off the face of the planet, and they want to spread terror around the world. And you can't do that. So the Iranian people, I think the Persian people will be free. And I want to see them free again. I remember I was a little kid when the Shah was deposed, and Jimmy Carter ushered in the Ayatollah Khomeini to bring radical Islam's ascendance around the world. He did it. Jimmy Carter, old Jimmy Carter, trying to be Mr. Nice Guy. Yeah, look what he did. He really made it into a cluster, Charlie Foxtrot is what he did. Here is Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday quoting the Bible.
Israel's enemies have learned a hard truth. Those who attack us pay a heavy price.
Boom!
But those who partner with us advance progress and security for their peoples.
Yeah, like when Donald Trump went over to Qatar and all that, and they ladled, trillions of dollars and said they were going to come into the United States and do business. It's like they actually want to do business, and get along.
President Trump just said it. It's also in the Bible. It says, those who will bless you will be blessed,
yes,
and those who will curse you will be cursed.
Yeah.
And that's actually what is happening.
Yeah, it is. It's remarkable. And there's no reason why it shouldn't be if we make it so. We can do this. We can see peace in the Middle East. Oh, my God, wouldn't it be wonderful? It would be wonderful. So precious metal specialist Philip Patrick was talking to Steve Bannon. He said that 73% of central banks are looking to massively increase gold holdings over the next 5 years. What is that going to mean? Well, it's going to mean scarcity for gold and the price going bing like it has the last year. 35% increase since the beginning of this year for gold. Gold a few years ago was the Snuggie of investments. It was like a little safe zone for a little bit of growth and all that. No, it's at light speed right now, and today is the last day that you could be eligible for up to a $10,000 rebate from Birch Gold if you're a first-time gold investor. But you got to text my name right now today, Rob to 989898. Rob to 989898. Up to $10,000 in rebate for first-time gold buyers. What are you waiting for? Today is the last day, September the 30th. Rob to 989898 will get you to roll and invest existing IRA or 401k into gold or your savings. But you got to do it today. Coming up, Luke Ball, Newsmax contributor. He was on with us the day that Charlie Kirk passed. It was an amazing and horrible moment, and a lot of things have happened since. We'll talk to him next on the Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere.
I make the Democrats look incredibly dumb. Inflation is down, the economy's starting to hum. Still, it's a real good bet, the best is yet to come. Best is yet to come since we bombed Iran. Taking out all their nukes, that was part of the plan. border secure once again. Illegals are getting in. Doge has saved us billions. This is what it's like to win. Best is yet to come, and it's gonna be fine. Best is yet to come. Hear the Democrats whine. Listen to them whine. The last laugh is mine.
The FBI says Democrats got ballots from China. The CCP are dirty rats, sending ballots from China. Fake driver's licenses the Chinese supply to cheat in 2020 can't be denied. Cash Patel produced the proof. China helped steal it. He's about to raise the roof. I can't just feel it. Democrats, they are nervous, and they ought to be. If you got ballots from China, should not go free.
I'm afraid that poor Joe Biden, his faculties are sliding. Yes, it's a sad refrain. On the edge, watch him teeter. He would be a better leader if he only had a brain. That non-existent hand he's shaking, and all the gaffes Joe's making, his supporters can't explain. When he speaks, it's a gamble. I bet he wouldn't ramble if he only had a brain. Oh, I can't tell you why Joe Biden somehow got elected. Just hope November 8th he and his kind will be rejected. Joe Biden, he's so dense, he doesn't have the sense to come in from the rain. He's worse than Jimmy Carter, but I bet he'd be much smarter if he only had a brain.
Mr. President, the next time you have something to say about me, don't cop out through a racist and fake AI video. when I'm back in the Oval Office, say it to my face.
Oh, I would love to see Hakeem Jeffries. Democrats are always good about talking tough, but they are so weak it's not even funny. That's Hakeem Jeffries. He got all butthurt because Donald Trump posted a funny video, an AI video, making fun of Hakeem Jeffries because he knew he deserves nothing but derision because he's a feckless, awful leader. And Donald Trump put him in a sombrero, which of course is cultural appropriation and all that. And Jeffries, of course, is playing the race card. Oh, I'm a victim. I'm a rectum. Whatever. It is so funny. The possibility of a government shutdown. The Democrat Party's been threatening it forever, and they're going to get blamed for it if it happens. Luke Ball joins us on the Newsmax Hotline at Luke T Ball on Twitter. Luke, welcome to the show, man. Glad to have you back on, bro.
Rob, what I would tell Hakeem Jeffries is that he better not tempt President Trump about saying it to his face in the Oval Office, because he'll say, turn down the lights, pull up the projector, let's play the video. He will do it, and he'll do it over and over and over again at the Oval Office, just like he's done it to world leaders. So Hakeem Jeffries better not be wishing out loud for things, because he very well may get it.
I got to tell you, Luke, the Democrat Party is just playing contrarian on everything, and they're so wrong about everything. They can't lie over the truth. They can't. So J.B. Pritzker can't lie enough to cover up that Chicago is a very, very dangerous place. And Donald Trump cured violent crime in Washington, D.C. by bringing in federal troops and whatnot to partner with local law enforcement and make the city safe. They can't lie louder than the truth, but they're still trying to do it. They're still trying to do it about everything. They're still trying to do it about the possibility of a government shutdown, and it's not working, Luke. And I haven't talked to you since the day that Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and you broke the news on the show. But I'm going to tell you, his murder has really ignited a movement around the world that is certainly louder than anything that the Democrats can counter. And right now, the Democrats are fading into oblivion. They're yelling very loudly, but they're fading into oblivion, Luke.
Well, I'll tell you, I've had so many young people reach out to me over email or text and just say that they have been reignited with an energy that I don't think we have seen among the youth in America in a long time. And, I'd like to think that I'm young, Rob, but also I have lower back pain, and cars that were made the year I was born qualify for antique license plates, so I'm not that young anymore. But the people that I've been interacting with, these high school students and these college students that are reaching out and saying, hey, how do I get involved? And I've been doing my best to try. I was answering 2 emails this morning from just random college students that had emailed me from LinkedIn, and they were saying, this is what I'm doing, and I'm like, keep at it, because this is the energy that we need. I mean, the thing that they wanted most, which was to shut up the next generation of conservatives, and conservatives in general, has had such the opposite effect that they are going to rue the day that they spread this sort of malicious hate speech and the violent actions that they have done, because we are coming back with a force stronger than ever before. But to your point about the Democrats in general, I mean, I don't want to be on that side of the midterm elections if I'm walking in there saying I stand on the side of criminal illegal aliens, of rapists, of murderers, of violent criminals. That just doesn't play well for messaging unless you're on the Republican side cutting the campaign ads. So I don't know what the Democrat strategy is heading into the midterms, but if they keep this up, I think they're going to see a congressional map that probably pops up in Hakeem Jeffries' worst nightmares.
Yes, yeah, and I believe that. And the Democrat Party is not offering nothing at all. They haven't learned anything from their defeat. They have even doubled down on evil with the murder of Charlie Kirk. And I got to tell you, Luke, just a personal note, when you broke the news on the show, and you and I didn't know you particularly, but you prayed, and I prayed that day, and something happened that day that has really put this movement toward God and freedom and light speed around the world. And I'll tell you, after the Friday afterwards, I went to the annex to Independence Hall for a recognition of Bible Day in the state of Pennsylvania. And brother, Charlie's killing It was a spiritual event in a way that I never could have imagined. And I made it to church for the first time since my mother died, brother. And here in Old Town Alexandria, it's gridlock on Sunday mornings if you want to try to get anywhere, because people are. Yeah. And I think that it is caused an unquenchable or you can't put this fire out.
Yeah, well, for me, it also just reminds me of why I am in politics in general, because that foundation of a worldview that we have as Christians and conservatives, the politics is the outpouring of that. It is the action behind it. But if you go to the why, if you believe that we are just some accident of a cosmic belch that happened millions and millions of years ago, then we really aren't accountable to anybody. And frankly, Rob, you and I are doing ourselves a disservice sitting here talking about conservative politics, because I'd probably be the wildest blue-haired progressive liberal you'd ever met if I didn't have this foundation of exactly why I'm involved here, because we are accountable to somebody, our Creator. Nobody would look at that hall that you were at this last couple of weeks, that building, and say, wow, this is some accident. And yet can look at the intricacy of the DNA in humankind and say, that's an accident. It just simply doesn't make any sense. And therefore, because we are accountable to somebody, because we see through creation the evidence of the Creator, we then must seek Him out and find Him. And we do that through looking at the Scripture, which gives us a foundation of law, and we better understand our condition as fallen man as a result of that law. So the two work hand in hand, and as a result of that, we get to participate in this arena of politics that God ordained in Romans chapter 13. Whosoever resisteth the ordained powers resisteth the ordinance of God. And He instituted the church, the state, the family in order to work with one another. Yep. And we see government being co-opted by the progressive left in order to accomplish a radically progressive agenda, and that's why we can say we're in this arena, because we have a much higher calling than just who wins the next election.
Did you know the interesting thing at that event at Recognizing the Bible, the most powerful speakers were rabbis. They were the most. It was. And then you heard Benjamin Netanyahu quote the Bible yesterday. Quoted the Bible yesterday, and we are on the cusp of a more than millennial peace in the Middle East. You tell me something's not happening here, Luke. You tell me that something bigger than us is happening right now, because it is. And Charlie Kirk's murder has put it in light speed.
Yeah, I agree. And it reminds us just of the battle that we're fighting against.
Yes,
like, if what ultimately plays out if we aren't able to move forward with a conservative agenda is anarchy and chaos. Yep. And it is just wholeheartedly destructive to the fabric of America. The left does not want to just win an election. They want to fundamentally and radically change the fabric of this country and replace it with something that is far worse. So that's really concerning.
Yeah, we got to take a break. I am confident. I realize we are in a battle. I want to talk next about Pete Hegseth's speech this morning in front of all those generals. That was pretty incredible, among other things. So, Luke, if you can hold on, I'd really appreciate it, man. Luke Ball on the Newsmax Hotline. We'll continue the conversation on the other side of the break. This is the Rob Carson Show.
it down. We're not shutting it down. We don't want it to shut down because we have the greatest period of time ever. I told you, we have $17 trillion being invested. So the last person that wants it shut down is us now. With that being said, we can do things during the shutdown that are irreversible, that are bad for them and irreversible by them, like cutting vast numbers of people out, cutting things that they like, cutting programs that they like. And you all know Russell Vought. He's become very popular recently because he can trim the budget to a level that you couldn't do any other way.
Whoa. That could be what we've been waiting for, because I was, hoping that some of the largesse of the government that Joe Biden ushered in during COVID, I was like, what are we going to do about that? And it looks like if the Democrats shut down the government, Donald Trump is going to make some things happen that are not so good for Democrats. That's pretty remarkable, Luke. I've never heard anyone use...
Go ahead, make my day.
Dude, yes.
In my mind whenever I hear that stuff.
That's unbelievable, because they've been... Listen, man, I was in Washington, D.C. when Barack Obama was the president, and he shut down the government, and they had thousands of signs printed up, a Republican shutdown, and they hired more people to keep people from seeing the Vietnam Veterans Memorial than would have worked when people just strode by it. And I went,
My goodness.
I'm so freaking tired of this. They always do this. Shut down. Finally, I'm done, because, a couple of years ago, they shut us down. They shut down our businesses. They said we couldn't go to church. So as far as I'm concerned, shut the damn thing down. What do you think?
Well, first of all, Rob, welcome to Groundhog Day in Washington, D.C. It seems like every couple of months this topic comes up, and I'm thinking, wait, we just talked about the government shutdown. First of all, let me vent about Congress in general. The last time that Congress fulfilled its fundamental duty to the United States and passed a balanced budget, I was 18 months old. Wow. I was less than 2 years old. And now we're looking back and saying, what has led us up to this point? So just a fundamental irresponsibility of Congress as an entity itself just, enrages me. But beside that, this is the position that Republicans want to be in because of that clip that you just played with Russ Vought. We're sitting back, and the Democrats are saying, if you don't come to the table, if you don't give us what we want, then we're going to go into a shutdown and blame you. And the Republicans are like, fine. Are you kidding me? We're going to have an opportunity to cut even more government waste. We're going to have an opportunity to return more money back to the taxpayers and shrink the federal government even larger. So this is the position the Democrats find themselves in. Them threatening Republicans to do something that Republicans will ultimately benefit from does not really sound like a great position to be in, especially when you consider the fact that Chuck Schumer is up between a wall and a hard place, a rock and a hard place, because he folded last time, and his party is saying don't fold again. So I'm just going to sit back and watch this, man. This is not a bad place for Republicans to be in.
I love it. I really do. And honestly, the Democrat Party, they are intellectually and morally bankrupt. I've been saying that for 20 years. And they have reached a new low. When Charlie Kirk was murdered, there were Democrats who went online and danced like demons. And that's the only thing I could say. They danced like demons. And people like Ilhan Omar are still dancing like demons. And they've exposed themselves for who they really are. And the American people are turning away from it. They really are. Democrats are turning away from it. They don't want to be a part of it. And I really believe that it's only going to get bigger. I want to mention Pete Hegseth's speech today. Did you see that? He said, no dudes in dresses, no woke nonsense, cut your hair, get in shape, fatty. I was like, yes. What'd you think of that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I was wondering why they were running General Patton reruns on C-SPAN, and then I realized it was actually our sitting Secretary of War, so that was phenomenal. But, I don't think it was – I think it was half for the generals themselves. Yeah. But I also think it was also half for the rest of America and the world to look at us and say, hey, we're not just some weak – Biden-era cross-dressing tranny military any longer. We are an actual fighting force that is going to protect and defend these United States of America. So it wasn't just a rah-rah for the generals themselves. In fact, I would think it's probably less than 50% of that. It was a deterrent to any other nation that thinks they want to come and screw with us, and also a reminder to Americans that this is what our military is supposed to look like. Because, Rob, we have missed our recruitment deadlines, or did under the Biden administration, quarter after quarter after quarter. But now if we actually present something to really young men who are looking and yearning for something to actually work towards and fight for, that's going to appeal appeal to them. If you had presented me with an opportunity to go into the military and I was a young person who was like trying to figure out what career direction I was going to go under the Biden administration, where they were having sanctioned drag shows on U.S. naval ships, I would have said, of course not, I'm not going to go to that. What would I actually be, getting myself into? But now we are reminding them America is worth fighting for, and we're going to create a military that is worthy of our country.
Well, as Rush used to say, our military is there to blow stuff up and kill people. I mean, that's the way it is, honestly. We live in a cruel world where people want to murder us and take our property and steal our daughters. And I can go on and on about that. Before we go, I want to mention, what do you think about this? The NFL naming Bad Bunny, who no one has ever heard of. You're a younger guy than I. You ever heard of Bad Bunny?
Dude, when I heard Bad Bunny, I just thought to Ralphie in the Christmas Story with the little pink bunny outfit. I had no earthly idea who this guy was. And, like, I guess I'm younger, but also, like, have not somebody that I'm, like, leaping to turn on whenever I'm jumping into my car.
He dresses in drag and dresses. He only sings in Spanish. And he said 2 weeks ago that he wasn't going to perform in America anymore because he was afraid his fans would be deported. And I think it's a giant middle finger to America. And I'm about done with the damned NFL.
Are we talking about the NFL halftime show or some of the generals that were under the Biden administration this past time?
I think some of them have become cheerleaders, male cheerleaders in the NFL.
Man.
I've had enough. Man. I've just had enough. I've had enough of the virtue signaling and the male cheerleaders, and now this. I'm teetering on just turning it off and spending Thursday nights and Monday nights and Sunday afternoons doing something else. Luke Ball, we got to go, brother. It is great to have you back on. I want to make this a regular thing if you got the time. Luke, where can people find you everywhere?
Yeah, man, always a pleasure. Thanks for having me on. Just search for Luke Ball. There's an Australian football player. If you find someone on Google that looks very athletic and good-looking, it's not me. Go find the other one. Just search for me everywhere.
All right, brother. God bless you. We'll talk again soon. Let's take a break. This is the Rob Carson Show. Oh, God. Oh, man. All right. And that's just kaboom. Just kaboom. Just spectacular. Wow. Really, really good. Wasn't he good? Oh, my God. Let's see what we got here. Who's watching? Round a Pony. Sleuth Dog 58. I haven't seen Sleuth Dog 58. You must be new or something here. Let me find something here, Milley. I'm going to see if I have a parody about General Milley and the woke military. I know I do. I know. I guess I don't. Troops. Anyway, Round a Pony, South Dakota Patriot. Good to see you there, South Dakota Patriot. I need to get back up to the Black Hills. I haven't been since I went with my sister. Really, 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 really miss that. Had a good time. Gail King, good to see you there. And Bad Bunny was a horrible pick. Well, of course, ridiculous, utterly ridiculous that they would choose this jackass. And they did it to rub it in Trump's face. And I'm done. I don't think I'm going to watch the NFL this season. I hate it. I love watching football, but I'm tired of the people who are in charge of this doing this to us. Sick and damn tired of it. Rubbing my face in my politics, telling me, they get the most, pro-illegal immigration performer who only speaks in Spanish and dresses in drag. Really? And nobody's heard of him? And that's going to be your halftime. Honestly, done with you. Done with your nonsense, to be honest. Let's see, over on the Facebook, Arnie, did you? Let's see. We had some issues with Rumbly Roo earlier, but it's back. I'm not sure what the problem was. Mickey, good to see you, Mickey125. I'm going to be out in Rehoboth this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, or Friday and Saturday. It's going to be a good time. Maybe you all ought to come and see me if you're out and about. Over on Facebook, you got D. Silverman. Oh, I got to talk. I got to tell you, Luke Ball, he kicks butt, man. He is remarkable. Really enjoyed that conversation. So the Democrat Party is doubling down on the filthy, awful language that has gotten so many people killed, including Charlie Kirk. This is Joe Walsh. He's a Democrat, renewing the Democrats, even though this language caused two unhinged people to be allowed to within shooting distance of Donald Trump and almost murdered him.
And I know fascism is a heavy term.
Sure it is.
But I'll say it. We have a fascist in the White House.
That's an absolute lie.
He's suppressing his opposition. He's persecuting his political opponents.
This is exactly what you did with going after CRT parents, the FBI, sicking the FBI on J6ers. I can go on and on.
He's glorifying and using the military.
I know he's really making the military big again and powerful again.
Dominating the private economy.
Yeah, he's about $17 trillion in new investment into it.
He's suppressing our individual liberties.
No, you guys did that when you censored our speech and called it disinformation.
Nally, look, like all great dictators, he came to power preaching about
You're a dictator too, without the tater. Here's J.B. Titzler. He did the same thing yesterday, talking about ICE being jackbooted thugs.
Our small businesses suffer when our residents and visitors who are shopping and eating are made to feel unsafe by the jackbooted thugs roaming around a peaceful downtown.
Wow.
Parents are now scared to send their kids to school for fear the troops will grab their children. Students are afraid they'll come home and find
Yeah, you know who is really freaking out about this? Most nobody. The Democrat Party is manufacturing a crisis while America says, good, we're finally getting rid of the illegals that were allowed to come across the southern border. While we were screaming, shut down the border. We were screaming as children were being trafficked across the southern border. 300,000 children lost. Women trafficked for sex and labor. Hundreds of thousands of people dead from fentanyl. And this is what you're offering, J.B. Pritzker? We were crying out for 4 years as the illegals were stuffed like a Trojan horse and brought across our southern border, causing untold damage and destruction. And now, guess what? You got to go bye-bye. And nothing you say in front of a microphone, you big fat loser, is going to make a whit of difference. Let's take a break and come back. Last hour of the Rob Carson Show is right ahead. I wouldn't go anywhere.
Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily Podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. Last hour today of the said Rob Carson Show. Erika Donalds, the wife of the great Byron Donalds, joins us at the bottom of the hour. You talk about teaching civics in school again. Oh, because they chased God and patriotism out of the school, and they're turning this around. They're turning around. She's the chair for America First Policy Institute, Center for Education Opportunities. So, yeah, they're bringing civics back into school and pride in your country and all of that stuff as well. I think we need to do one of these.
We love to win. Winning, so much winning. It's lots of winning, 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 lots of winning. It's oh so good.
Yeah, there's a lot of winning happening, a lot of losing as the Democrat Party's getting its butt completely kicked and all of that. And Donald Trump is going to get $24.5 million to settle a lawsuit with YouTube. YouTube agreed to pay $24.5 million to settle a lawsuit filed by President Donald Trump after he was suspended by social media platforms following January the 6th. It was almost like a plan or something, right? Because it was a plan, and that's what they did to all of us. I actually personally would like to have I'd like to all the money that I could have made actually reinstated for being booted off of different platforms. This is kind of interesting because this is a video that Donald Trump did on January the 6th that he sent out that YouTube did not put up. All social media did not put up because they wanted to pin the faux insurrection. We now know that 274 FBI agents were in the crowd to whip up the crowd, lure them into the Capitol. Yeah, I'm saying it. I can say it now. It's not disinformation or misinformation. But here's the video that Donald Trump wanted to post that day that was not shared.
I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home.
Now, if he was really fomenting an insurrection, shouldn't he have said, go into that Capitol and storm it, we're taking this damn government down, right? Isn't that the case, right? If you were really wanting to overturn the government, isn't that what you'd say?
Now, we have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time. There's never been.
Yeah, the YouTube took that down. All of the social media took it down. And screw them, actually. YouTube will pay $22 million to settle the claims made by Trump to the nonprofit Trust for the National Mall, which is dedicated to restoring, preserving, and elevating the National Mall to support the construction of the White House State Ballroom. There you go. Oh, look at that. Isn't that amazing? Oh, my God. Yeah, Meta agreed to settle Trump's lawsuit in January for $25 million. I'm not so forgiving of the social media platforms that censored us. I'm not. It was one of the worst chapters in our history when they took away our ability to go to church and send our kids to school. Honestly, I want retribution. I'm not afraid to say it. I want retribution. I want people to pay for what they did to us. What they did to us, what they did to the Jan 6ers, all of that stuff. I'd like to see that. Dozens of Border Patrol agents walked in patrol in downtown Chicago in defiance of efforts to block immigration enforcement by Democrats, Mayor Brandon Johnson and Governor J.B. Titzler. Agents strolled past several of Chicago's tourist landmarks on the Loop and the major shopping area, the Magnificent Mile, 3 days after sending boats filled with border agents down the Chicago River, days after Chicago area Home Depot was swarmed for illegal aliens. Listen to this. Chicago's been a leader in business loss in America. The city's magnificent Miracle Mile, the very area where you've been in Miracle Mile. There's the lake over here on the right, and then the Miracle Mile, a row of buildings a mile high. Anyway, they've gone from having 1,600 businesses registered in 2015 to 784 today because the idiots in charge of the city and the state have made such a terrible place out of Chicago. Democrats, officials, and left-wing pro-migrant activists have instigated a series of riots over the last several months in Chicago, attacking ICE facilities and We're not just going to take that anymore. This is J.B. Pritzler, the parade balloon, doubling down on calling Trump and his supporters fascists.
Times. For Donald Trump and the MAGAs in Congress.
We're MAGAs now.
This is not about fighting crime or about public safety. This is about sowing fear and intimidation and division among Americans.
No, not at all. It's what we voted for.
It was about creating a pretext to send armed military troops into our communities.
No. We're sitting there out of necessity because you made them into such bleep holes.
This is about consolidating power in Donald Trump's hands. What he plans to do with that power now or during the 2026 elections.
Oh, yeah, you're going to rig those elections like you guys that did the 2020 election and the midterms after that.
Should worry all of us.
Please.
When you add to that the Trump administration's effort to label as dangerous free speech critical of him.
You're the one who shut down all speech critical of the Biden administration and Biden administration policies for years, you giant flaming turd.
White House senior staff calling the Democratic Party fascist.
Okay, that's where I'm done with old JB. When you say that after saying we are fascists, after saying we are Gestapo for so many years, how dare you shove that in our face?
Every single ICE agent who's engaged in this aggressive overreach, no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes, will of course be identified. This is not the 1930s.
Secret police who are masked, who are intimidating, who are scared.
Yeah, you know what? And your lies aren't taking away from the fact that we love immigration enforcement. We love it because you've run roughshod over us for so long and you brought untold damage by opening our southern border. And we want it. We want payback. We want to know where's old Alejandro Mayorkas? Where is he hiding? He's hiding from the tribunal. There needs to be a tribunal for that jackweed. Unbelievable. I gotta share this story. This is pretty funny. So there's this sheriff. Hold on a second. Let me find it here. Hold on one second. I saved the story here. One second. He apparently up near Chicago called Broadview, and the ICE agents have come in there to enforce, the immigration and all that. And he says they've been calling him names. Here, listen to this crybaby.
I was shocked. I've never been spoken to by a fellow law enforcement officer in such a way.
Broadview Police Chief Thomas Mills says on top of requiring 75% of his department's manpower for crowd control outside of the ICE processing facility in the west suburban city, he was personally, verbally attacked by...
Okay, where's the audio tape? I want to hear the audio tape. I want to see the video of this happening.
ICE agents during a protest.
I'm a leader of a department. I know that my office is looking at me for guidance and leadership.
Which is kind of sad.
And I had to ensure that, I had to stay calm and not engage in such unprofessional behavior.
Chief Mills says he was walking across a skirmish on September 12th, the day this video was shot. He was called multiple expletives by an ICE agent, calling him a coward, accusing him
Show me the video.
of neglecting his duties during protests that got physical. Mills also telling the I-Team about an incident earlier this week where a pedestrian was hit by a truck near the ICE facility.
Allegedly, a ICE agent struck someone and continued on into their...
Yeah, it's probably because some jackweed was standing in trying to impede the vehicle, you fool.
Location. And during the course of that, while trying to gather information, there was pepper spray release while my officers right there.
Yeah.
They felt the effects of that pepper spray.
Yeah, boo friggity who. It's with these radical leftists getting in the way of ICE, and so guess what? We're not taking it anymore.
It altered their vision. They were coughing, and
Wow, this is such amazing. You know who this guy reminded me of? This Broadview or whatever the hell his police chief reminded me of. Do you remember the movie Vacation at the end when Chevy Chase and his family got into Wally World and John Candy was the security guard and all of that, and then there was this other security guard and the other security guard he whined about how he was supposedly treated by Chevy Chase. Listen.
Hello, Mr. Wally. Mr. Whitey, he treated me like a dog, Mr. Whitey. He humiliated my human decency. This guy.
That's what it reminded me of. Reminded me of that guy. That is just hilarious. Wah, boo, friggity who. Too bad, so sad. And I doubt that any of that stuff happened from ICE agents because they're professional, unlike you guys who support illegal immigration. This is Jim Gossett on the Rob Carson Show about Chicago.
Oh, when the troops go marching in. Oh, when the troops go marching in, we're gonna clean up Chicago.
Whether you like it or not.
When those troops go marching in, Brandon Johnson cannot stop me. Fat JB cannot stop me. They haven't done a thing for Chicago.
No, they made it suck.
When those troops go marching in, we're gonna make the city safer. When those troops go marching in, just like DC.
Just like DC.
Here in DC.
Here in DC.
We have cut crime dramatically.
Oh, it's fantastic.
We'll do the same for Chicago when those troops go marching in.
By the way, the Broadview, Illinois police chief is Thomas Mills, and he claims that the ICE agents called him poopy names and stuff. It's fantastic. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
They stripped the titles from Leah Thomas. Titles Leah won while still a man. Pen they gave him, they started caving. Pressure from Trump could not withstand. He's still a man, says he is now a female. He looks more like a she-male, the girl with something extra. He's still a man. They took his swimming titles, was part of Trump's master plan. He's still a man. Who's ruined his state. Now he wants our children to self-mutilate. His policies are disgusting and lewd. And now he says schools have to include tampons in the boys' room. Tampons in the boys' room. Tim Walz and Kamala, a couple of fools. And everybody knows that liberals want to ruin schools. Tim allowed his cities to be burned by BLM. Criminals, illegals, they can count on Tim. His uniform, Tim was disgraced. He really crossed the line the moment that he placed tampons in the boys' room. Tampons in the boys' room. Tim Walz is a commie. Kamala is too, and everyone should know the damage that these two could do.
Rob, take a break. We got deplorable.
Yeah, I know. I'm just going to breathe. Just going to chill. Here we go.
This administration has done a great deal from day one to remove the social justice, politically correct, and toxic ideological garbage that had infected our department, to rip out the politics. No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship.
Oh, no.
No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris. As I've said before, and will say again, we are done with that shit.
There you go. That is, I'm not, leave it uncensored. I don't care. If there is a time and a place for it, heck with it. I don't even care. That is Pete Hegseth finally ushering in the warrior mentality that is needed by our military, and also, I might add, giving a new generation of recruits an opportunity to be all they can be. Yeah, I said be all you can be. That used to be one of those military slogans they used to use before the military got all wokeified and fat. I hear that we have Deplorabella on the Newsmax Hotline. She wants to comment about this. Hello, Deplorabella. How are you today?
Hello yourself, Rob. I am just enjoying the delusional Democrats.
Oh.
They're going totally bizarre.
I know.
Look, you've got Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer going to the White House, acting as though they won the last election.
I know.
Look what they're demanding. Health care for illegals, Obamacare, that PBS and NPR be refunded.
Nope.
And that global
She's close to the phone.
shutdown be reinstated. So they apparently don't know that they lost. Similarly, living in a Groundhog Day are Kamala and Hillary, who continue to blame and conduct an excuses tour. And I loved Hillary, Miss Deplorable, for whom I owe my name. Thank you, Hillary. Hillary comes out and blames white men of a certain particular persuasion, by which she means Christians, for everything wrong with the world. Yeah, it's everything wrong with your world, Hillary, the world of the corrupt. Look at delusional Cheryl, who's running for governor in New Jersey. Not only is she hit with the fact that her husband used the Pelosi method of insider trading to increase their fortune by many, many millions of dollars, not only is she in trouble for not having anything to do with Charlie Kirk's fitting memorial, but it turns out she was not only ousted from the Academy graduation, but she used her buddies like Cory Booker to appoint her children to enter the military academy, the Naval Academy. So it's nepotism run rampant. Then you've got Comey, the arrogant apparatchik, whose day at the beach yielded an 8647 shell collection. He has now been indicted. Goodbye, James. I hope you're on your way to the slammer along with Clapper, Brennan, and the rest of the crew. Then you've got Hegseth, who is pointing out to the delusional toxic tampon Tim what real masculinity is all about, particularly when it comes to the warrior. And he's calling for merit and high standards and cleaning up the debris that stands in the way of completing the mission. What a contrast with Newsom, who refused to remove the debris from the forests, thereby giving clear sweep to the Santa Ana winds, which everybody knew was coming, except for Mayor Bass, who hightailed it over to Ghana for a few days of fun and games and DEI reaffirmation. They could not clean up the debris, and you see the results. You've got the NFL, which still seems to think that Assata Shakur is alive. No, she's dead, as she deserves to be. It should have been here rather than in Cuba, but that's okay. And we've got the NFL acting as though Kaepernick was still the most important man in the news and among influencers. They're still trying to feed us woke nonsense at the halftime, and the American people are just saying, this isn't football, this is propaganda, and I can go elsewhere for entertainment. You've got the great example of the board. The Board of Education in Des Moines, Iowa.
Oh, God.
With 30,000 children in their care. These mostly white women, all Democrats, ran to a man with melanin, a black man. Unfortunately, they didn't bother to ascertain if he were a citizen. He wasn't. He was an illegal. He had a gun charge. They didn't bother to vet his claimed credentials. In fact, the degree he claims does not exist, is ungrammatical, and it never happened. So this man was earning over, with all the benefits they threw his way because they couldn't do enough in terms of virtue signaling, more than $300,000 a year.
Yeah.
This pathetic man whose melanin rather than merit catapulted him to the top of the educational hierarchy in Iowa. And there they are, after they know the facts, Rob. This is the truly delusional part. They insist, they double down, the progressive white women are insisting that this man was an integral part of their educational system. Well, I'm sure it was if you're looking at an educational system that indoctrinates. If you're looking at another secular madrasa, then that's what you have.
Yep.
They don't know enough to apologize.
Nope.
They are shameless. They are shameful. They are contemptible. And no one should ever pay any attention to them again.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Antifa, BLM, Students for Justice in Palestine. Their network, their terrorist networks, are beginning to be looked at.
Yay.
So you've got, remember Sanford and Son? They
Yes.
had a junkyard, an interesting, cute dynamic. Well, now we have Soros, George and Alex, as a version of them. Only it's called Open Society, and they've been funding every one of these insurrectionist groups and Democrat stormtroopers for years, and they are about to come into the limelight.
Yes. Now, Deplorabella, we're running. We're going to be running short on time. I do apologize for this, but
That's
I will
okay,
tell
I'm
you.
sure.
But I will tell you, it is remarkable how the cards are beginning to line up. Right? Can you feel it? And the Democrats are yelling louder to cover up their lies, and it's not working anymore. And they are falling. The columns on their Coliseum are collapsing, and it's fun to watch. Chronicles of Deplorabella is your book. It is available on, provided you don't hang up on yourself. Chronicles of Deplorabella available on Amazon. I got my copy, and I'm waiting for the audiobook because I don't think there'd be anything better than having you read a book to me. I don't think so. Deplorabella, good to hear from you. God bless you. Have a glorious day.
And you, Rob, take care.
I appreciate it. Yeah, Chronicles of Deplorabella. I just got my book. I got the paperback, but there's a hardcover, and I'm waiting for the audiobook because I can listen to her talk all day. Let's take a break and come back. Erika Donalds joins us next to talk about civics in schools on The Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere.
I won't mask, don't ask me. I won't mask, don't ask me. I won't mask aboard a plane. And I won't wear one in a car or a train. Mandate, not needed. Freedoms, we've ceded. And now Joe, he wants it back. A new mask mandate is his latest attack. Joe wants you to mask when you are flying. The rationale for this nobody's buying. Claiming it's essential, simply lying. Yeah, it's appalling. It's like Joe Stalin. And that's why I won't mask. Can't make me to jail. You can't take me. I won't mask for you again. The flight attendants, they can casually ask. But when I'm flying on a plane, I won't mask.
if you're illegal alien in the United States, this message is for you. You cannot hide from ICE.
Avoiding ICE ain't easy. Illegals are so sleazy. Tom Homan set them straight. To ICE should be reporting. You should be self-deporting. Leaving will be your fate. Back home is where you're headed. That's safe to say. And you won't make a stop along the way. No longer can you stay here. You've seen your final day here. 'Cause you've committed crime. Avoiding ICE ain't easy. It is far from easy. Avoiding ICE ain't easy anytime.
This land's not your land. This land is our land. From the coast of Cali to a New York alley, nothing would be finer than to sell it to China. This land was made for the CCP. Crime is through the ceiling. There's no racial healing. Schools teach CRT. Teachers are trannies. Biden is left wing. He's owned by Beijing. Joe sold his soul to the CCP. This land's not your land. This land is our land, and we'll destroy it. That's what we've got planned. 2Z will cower till he takes power. This land is for the CCP.
Democrats just found a new Maryland dad. He's a superintendent from Iowa, actually. Guyana. Ian Roberts. He's been here since 1999, and he's got a criminal record. Even Biden tried to deport him, but wasn't able to pull it off without Homan. He's a former track star, but he couldn't outrun the canines. Once he saw the agents coming, he took off and tried hiding in a bush. ICE found him and his car, filled with $3,000 in cash, a loaded gun, and a hunting knife.
Wow.
Bad hombre, right? Wrong. Michelle Obama's former chief of staff is the chair of the school board, and she's running for Senate, and she's riding with Roberts.
It seems fitting to take a page out of Dr. Roberts' book and ask the community to engage in radical empathy as we work through the situation together.
Roberts made $300,000 a year. The board voted to suspend the illegal with pay. But then once everybody found out about the story, they yanked his six-figure salary. And sorry about that, Ian.
Yeah, he had a history of drug convictions and all sorts of stuff, but somehow he was able to lie about his degree and become the head of the schools in Des Moines. I'm from Iowa, actually. Des Moines. Iowa used to have one of the best primary education systems in the country. I don't know about that anymore, but I'm fortunate that I went to school there. Joining us on the Newsmax Hotline, Erika Donalds, the chair for America First Policy Institute Center for Education Opportunity. Welcome back to the show. How are you, Erika?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
You know, doing well. I'm thinking that we're on the cusp of great things happening in the country, and maybe turning around our woke and beleaguered primary and secondary educational systems. That story out of Des Moines was just kind of the icing on the cake, wasn't it? You find out this guy not only was illegal, but also had a criminal history, and they allowed him to become the superintendent of schools. These are the people in charge.
If it wasn't so sad, but indeed we are coming at them from all directions, getting the woke out of our schools, parents calling out the teachers and the administrators that are continuing these ridiculous policies. And then you got Tom Homan helping fix the education system even.
Yeah, you know, I grew up, I'm a Gen Xer, right? And so we grew up in with Great American Melting Pot and, all of the Schoolhouse Rock stuff. And a lot of it had to do with patriotism and government. And we were proud to be from America. And we used to stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance in the morning. We had an American flag at the front of the school. And this is important if you're going to survive as a nation. And you guys, you're working with this America 250 Civic Education Coalition, working to bring civics back into the classroom. Why is that important?
Well, you cannot love something you do not know. And
Amen.
We have found, based on recent polling, that students especially, but even young people, they do not love America. They are no longer proud to be Americans. And we understand that that's because they don't understand our Constitution, our freedoms, our liberties, our founding principles, what makes America the greatest nation that the world has ever known. And clearly our education system has failed in this. We need to refocus on civic literacy and patriotic education and making sure that our children grow up understanding our founding principles and therefore loving the country that we live in.
You know, it's amazing. The people on the left will say this is indoctrination when they've been indoctrinating our children to hate America, to believe they can be the opposite gender, to hate each other because of the color of their skin, which I have always said is an affront. I remember, by the way, Erika, I was living in Montgomery County, Maryland, in around 2012. My son, he went to a school that was largely black and brown, largely ethnic, and all of his friends were people of different ethnicities. I used to call his friends the United Nations. And along about 2012, all of a sudden I started hearing about white privilege. And then I heard Batya Ungar Sargon talk about the great awakening that was ushered into schools to divide our kids along race lines and sex lines, and then ultimately along gender lines, and saying that kids can be transgendered and all of this. I mean, we've got a lot of work to do to turn this stuff around, don't we?
We do. And if you think about it, you know, the 1619 Project did permeate into the school system. It was taught in thousands of classrooms for many years. And maybe some may still be teaching that. And that is putting division over unity, reimagining the American story of one of oppression, critical race theory, dividing people into oppressors and oppressed. And the damage that's been done by that curriculum and curriculum like it, we have to offset that. And so not only do we have to do that for those who were given that false messaging, but we need to make sure that anyone growing up is learning civic education in a way that is accurate and historical, and that it is okay to be proud to be an American. We have overcome so much as a nation.
How do we get this through to educators who have graduated with degrees from universities where they've been indoctrinated to be Marxists, essentially?
Right. Part of the America 250 Civics Education Coalition, which I am co-chairing in partnership with the Department of Education, Turning Point, Hillsdale College, and 40 other national organizations, we are going to have some teacher summits teaching teachers how to best utilize the very best resources in civic literacy in their classrooms, as well as student competitions, lectures across our country, both in K-12 and higher education institutions, and so really promoting this patriotic education and what are the best practices for teachers to implement. Because teachers are Americans as well. Yes, many of them are belonging to the unions and perhaps don't love America, but there are many who love America and would embrace this resources that we're providing to them.
I would hope so. And aren't you kind of amazed? Charlie Kirk being murdered is backfiring on the left in a more profound fashion than anyone could have imagined, even though we've seen it happen before. I don't know. There was a guy who got crucified about 2,000 years ago. Still kind of a big deal. And then, of course, MLK, and I can go on about others. But TPUSA the interest is blowing up. I heard 62,000 people or organizations interested in bringing TPUSA. You got some states where TPUSA is going to be in every high school. That's pretty dramatic shift, and I'm sure it's going to help your cause.
It will, and Charlie was very passionate about civic education, and they have a K-12 portion of Turning Point USA. We know that if we lose this connection to our shared history and the values of liberty, self-government, and responsibility that make our country exceptional, we will not be able to celebrate the strength of this republic over the next 250 years, and we will lose our leadership on the global stage. And so carrying on his legacy, not just what he wanted to be known for, carrying the gospel around the world, but also making sure that students know and love America. That's what we're doing with the America 250 Coalition.
I think we've got a lot of work to do. There's been a lot that has changed since I grew up, possibly since you grew up. I think you lean into the millennial generation a little bit, but it didn't become as bad until the last 25 years or so. So we've got a lot of damage to fix to turn around what's taken 30 years to get us here, don't we?
Oh, listen, just 5% of Americans can name all 5 freedoms in the First Amendment. I know. We are at a critical stage. If citizens do not understand the Bill of Rights, they do not know how to defend the Bill of Rights. And these are the most critical parts of the foundation of our country. So we cannot wait any longer. We have to go full on. One of the things that I advocate for is civics learning every day in every grade.
Amen.
Some people don't know that students don't even learn civics every day in many schools in the country. It's a side thought. Maybe it's an elective style course. We have to have it on par with reading and math because it is just as important to America's sustainability.
Yeah, of course. And, this is, we live in a very cruel world, by the way. A lot of places that really envy and hate us, and we've got to come together as a people. And obviously, education is where it all starts. Erika Donalds, it's been a real pleasure to have you on. Where can people learn more about this, by the way, this America 250 Civic Education Coalition, and maybe get their schools involved?
America250civics.com, America250civics.com, and of course at Erika Donalds. You can follow me on all social media, and we'll keep you up to date on the events that we're having around the country.
Well, whatever you need, we are here for you, Erika. Thank you for finding the time to talk to us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Yeah.
The American people are done with open borders. They don't care about ICE finding illegals and deporting them. They don't. And J.D. Pritzker and others can act like it's some sort of crisis and that Americans are in fear and all. I mean, honestly, it doesn't. Don't believe them. You don't believe it. When you're watching TV and you see an ICE raid, or you see some jackweed standing in front of an ICE vehicle, and the ICE vehicle, they just get out and throw them to the ground and pepper ball the people who've caused so much damage. It makes you happy, doesn't it? Yeah, it puts a smile on your face, doesn't it? Here's a guy in Portland. He says he's glad. He wants to see Donald Trump send some troops.
I am so happy that Trump is sending the National Guard in here. I live in this building. We both live in this building. We've been asking for help for months, and we're finally going to get it.
When do you think they're coming?
When? Not soon enough, man. Not soon enough.
What do you want to see happen?
I want him to come in and mess them up.
Yeah, there you go. I want to see him come in and mess them up. I've been waiting this for years, man. I said the children needed a spanking years ago, like when 2020 happened, I said, and it's about time. It's about time these little punks in their masks get their masks taken off their little faces and get knocked to the ground. I love it. It makes me happy. I know it makes me a terrible person. No, not really. It makes me a person. Just kind of tired. Did you see Karen interviewing Karen? They had the governor of the state of Oregon on, and she was talking to Rachel Maddow, and she literally looks like Rachel Maddow, but just gray. I mean, it was phenomenal. Listen to him last night. Here she is, the governor being interviewed by Rachel Maddow, who's wrong about everything, only works one day a week, and saying that everything is fine in Portland despite the thousands of riots, all of the destruction, and the assaults by Antifa.
Yeah, well, thank you. First of all, I want people to know that Portland, Oregon is a beautiful, vibrant, successful city. We are not a war zone.
No, it largely sucks. You made it really suck. It used to be really awesome.
I was out there all weekend long. People were out and about, shopping, going to restaurants, going to soccer matches, going to shows. Portland is a beautiful place, and we are not under siege. There's no insurrection here. When the president...
No, there's been riots. Businesses ran out of town. The Democrats allowing Antifa to get arrested and get released, and cause all sorts of damage and chaos and assault officers. So honestly, you're full of crap. There you go. You're just full of crap. And everybody knows it, by the way. Everybody knows it, and everybody's tired of it. So they can keep trying to lie louder than the truth, and it's not going to work. Yesterday, there was a hearing on Capitol Hill. Stephen Federico, the daughter of 22-year-old Legan Haley Federico, spoke to a congressional hearing in North Carolina, I should say, on Monday, designed to tackle growing concerns over violent crime in that state, because you may recall a beautiful young woman was murdered there on a train for no good reason by a man who had been released from prison numerous times, Irina Zarutska. Her murder was covered up by the murder of Charlie Kirk, and here is her dad yesterday speaking in front of this group. His name is is Logan. Here he is calling them out for letting these SOBs out of prison. And then there's a representative there in North Carolina who got her name wrong.
Drag her out of bed, naked, forced on her knees, with her hands over her head, begging for her life. Bang! Dead. Gone. Why? Because Alexander Devontae Dickey, who was arrested 39 goddamn times.
Co-eds get killed and Democrats go, oops.
Yep.
They either don't say their names or they don't remember them. One Democrat got the victims confused.
Before I get started, I also want to express my deepest condolences to the family of Irina Zarutska. What happened to her is simply unimaginable and unconscionable. Particularly.
My daughter. This isn't Irina.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is my daughter.
I am so sorry.
Okay. Oh, wow.
I am so sorry.
Oh, wow. Oh, man. This man's daughter is 22 years old. Career criminal accused of breaking into her house where Logan was sleeping beside her boyfriend, shooting her in the chest with a stolen 12-gauge shotgun. She was out with friends. She lied down, going to sleep, feeling somebody come into the room, wake them, dragged her out of bed, naked, forced her to her knees with her hands over her head, begging for her life. He blew her away, shot her in the chest, then took her credit cards and went on a spending spree. He'd been arrested 39 times. Death penalty. Boom! How about that? Here is Officer Campbell talking about the weak law enforcement that Democrats have ushered into cities like Charlotte.
Now, I ask you, why is it that we take people who commit these heinous crimes and we do not hold them accountable for their actions? We sit there and we try to give it a reason as a mental health issue or some other type of issue that realistically doesn't take blame. Now, the judicial system here in Mecklenburg County, I can speak firsthand, is trash.
Yeah, and I think Americans are sick and damn tired of it. Across the country, these judges, these woke judges, having their own little personal pity parties and allowing people to get out and then murder again. This is a woman who's 64-year-old, a woman who lives in Charlotte, and she says, despite what the leaders say, it ain't safe there.
You heard Mr. Asher say that everything's...
You know, I'm going to have to take a break. We're up against this hard break. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. All right. Sorry, I was watching the clock there, Brian. I was getting close to break time. Let's see what we got here. Mickey Hastings, adorable Deplorabella. Oh, yes. She is. She's amazing, isn't she? Crazy horse. I'm boycotting the NFL. Good idea. Listen, I'm just done with it. To have this Bad Bunny be the halftime entertainment on what should be America's halftime show, where they've had people like Whitney Houston and Prince and so many perform who were great, and to do this is just bullcrap. Frickin' done with it. Done with your virtue signaling, end racism, painting it and painted. We're not children here. We are adults, okay? We pay good money to watch the NFL, to buy the merch, and honestly, we're sick and tired of the nonsense, to be quite honest. What we got over there on the Rumbly-Roo? We've got Round Pony still talking there big time. Doesn't Pritzker, what do you say, not hurt for money anyway? I don't know. He's such a douche. Douche supreme. Tom says Obama's library looks like a rectangular trash can. It does. It looks like something that the emperor of the dark side would have put together. It's awful. They cleared out a whole lot of homeless housing and stuff to build that there. Who else is on here today? God dang, you guys are going crazy over here. Firing squad. Yeah. Firing squad for that jackass who murdered that man's daughter. Unbelievable. I think we're done. With this nonsense, aren't we? Sick and damn tired of it. Sick and damn tired of it all. Damn tired of it all.
Is that you live in Charlotte? Is that
Fourth during my... Absolutely not, and I've lived...
Is that your perception?
99.9 FM.
Here we go.
Harford County.
Absolutely not. And I've lived in Charlotte back and forth during my life since I was 6 years old, and I'm 64. So I have a very good chronological memory of Charlotte and of the crime. And just since Mary was murdered 5 years ago in 2020, and she was one of those highest statistics in 2020. The crime is just, it's outrageous.
Yeah, it's outrageous in Memphis. It's outrageous in Chicago. It's outrageous in all these Democrat-run cities. And we're done with it, aren't we? We're friggin' done with it. And J.B. Titzler can yell all he wants, and Brandon Johnson can yell all he wants, but we're going to fix it. We're going to save the people in those communities who've been under this behind this wall that the Democrat Party has placed in front of them, and all the while making them angry, making their schools terrible so they remain ignorant, and then, of course, saying that they'll get them reparations, right? And then when the reparations don't happen, then you got somebody to blame, and it'll be the Republicans. It's not going to work anymore. It's not going to work anymore. Freedom is here. Freedom is coming. Enough. The Berlin Wall that is the Democrats in America's inner cities is tumbling down. 73% of central banks are looking to massively increase their gold holdings over the next 5 years. There's a scramble for it, which means it's going to become more rare and more valuable. We've already seen that the price of gold has gone up almost 50% last year to this year. It's above $3,800 an ounce. Maybe it's time to buy some. Today's the last day you can get up to $10,000 in precious metals as a rebate when you invest with a qualifying purchase with Birch Gold. So what you got to do is today, and this is the last day, text my name, Rob, to 989898. Text Rob to 989898. They'll get the ball rolling, send you some information, and if you're a first-time gold buyer, you can qualify up to $10,000 in precious metals rebate with your new account. Today is the deadline. Thank you very much. Text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold. Been a hell of a day so far, hadn't we? Had Pete Hegseth basically giving the military what for, saying get in shape, be the lethal fighting force you're supposed to be. I thought that was pretty darn cool. America is turning things around. We're on the beginning of the possible government shutdown. Donald Trump is telling Democrats, go right ahead, because if you do, things are only going to get worse, because if you shut down the government, you're giving permission to cut all sorts of stuff. So it's kind of nice to be in the catbird seat, isn't it? Yeah. Have a glorious day, guys. Check out the podcast. If you get a chance to, it should be up very shortly, all 3 hours. God bless you. America's founded. Donald Trump, what he's doing for the country. And until tomorrow, which is Wednesday, don't catch the stupid. I'll see you then.
All right, Rob, thanks. Have a good night.
All right, Brian.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.